So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a little bit of BC crime history and the curious case of child murderer Gerald Eaton. Now, the parallels in this case with the Joe Richard child murder in New Brunswick, in northern New Brunswick, is quite shocking. With Joe Richard, he tracked down and killed pretty well a preteen in the snow near Charlotte, New Brunswick in 1957. And this case also occurred in 1957, but on the west coast, again in the Langley region. Now, according to information provided by TrueCrimeLibrary.com, when two teenage boys were suspected by the RCMP of having abducted an 8-year-old, Gerald Eaton, a relative of one of them, intervened. "They were with me all day," he explained. "They couldn't have been involved with that girl's kidnapping." Now, Eaton's statement was the boy's alibi, but it was more than that. It was also a false alibi for himself, for it was he who abducted and murdered little Caroline Moore while she was walking home from her school in Langley. The Mounties knew that a green Buick was seen near the abduction point, and later the two lads were identified as being in the car. But questioned by police, they said Eaton was the driver, and after he dropped him off in Langley, they hadn't seen them again. A search of the Buick produced an imitation daisy from Carolyn's red bonnet. Confronted with it, Eaton confessed. He said that moments after she waved goodbye to a playmate, he picked her up. Carolyn told him, "I'm in a hurry, I have to meet my mum in the church, and then we're going to Vancouver to meet my daddy at the airport." "Jump in," Eaton said. "I'll get you to church in a few minutes." Now, Caroline, mindful of her mother's past warnings, asked cautiously, "Are you a stranger?" Eaton, laughing, said he was not, that he lived nearby in Langley. He drove the little girl to his home, and when she said she would report him if he hit her with his fist, he hit her with his fist, knocking her unconscious. Panicking, he went out to his car and returned with a tire lever, which he used to bludgeon Caroline to death. He then put the body into the boot of his car, drove out to some woods, and hid it under an uprooted tree stump before covering it with leaves. Eaton was eventually tried twice for the little girl's murder. Found guilty the first time, he appealed against the verdict and was granted a retrial, just like the Richard case. He was later found guilty the second time. Before he went to the gallows in Okalala prison on Monday, July 16, 1957, he wrote to the Moore family asking for forgiveness. Caroline's father, Lawrence Moore, not only rejected his plea, but asked to be present at the hanging. "This wasn't out of a sense of revenge," he explained. "I had two choices. One was to continue through life with the mental picture of this man beating my daughter to death with a tire lever. The other was to see him hang. I have chosen the execution. Only that could obliterate from my memory the other ugly picture." So that's the curious case of the execution of Gerald Eaton. Information on this case is provided in various published outlets, including the important mid-1980s Canadian anthology book about the lax executions across Canada called "They Were Hanged." You could probably find it in a true Amazon or eBay. Might be a little bit expensive, but it's well worth the find. It's probably one of the most important historical books in Canadian history, because the book just presents the information, doesn't present anything but the facts. It doesn't editorialize, it's just saying, here it is for you, and that's what we're trying to do with these podcasts. Thanks for listening. Bye.